Hi everyone, and great to be back with you. My wife and I have been away for 5 days and thoroughly enjoyed ourselves in Hobart, and it was nice to have that break actually. And as a result of that break, I haven't done anything on my channel, and but I've missed it, and I've missed communicating with you. And now that I'm back, I am back communicating. So, and there's a number of things that we can talk about at the moment, and I'll try to put some videos together in relation to all of that throughout the day. So you'll see a splattering of videos from me. And can I just remember to remind you, because I've noticed that my subscriptions dropped off while I was away. So if you haven't subscribed already to my channel, I'd really appreciate it if you would. It always helps me out to know that people have subscribed and they're sharing my videos and they're making comments below about the things that I talk about and what matters to them. And I know there's a number of people who do communicate often with me through these videos. So I hope that you can continue to do so. Tomorrow I'll probably be doing a live feed at some particular point. And my regular live feed on Tuesday. Try and do more and more of them to keep in contact with you so that we can continue to have these conversations. So here we go. Now, the conversation I'm about to have is about the media show on Sky News. Now, Sky would use any opportunity that they can in order to criticise, to denigrate, to find a way to have a go, I guess, at the ABC, and they do it regularly. They don't have the ability, unfortunately, to be able to look at themselves and realise their own biases, but are more than happy to criticise others for theirs. And I've got a couple of examples of that, and I'll run through them in just a moment. One of the persons that often appears on the media show is Gerard Henderson. Now, poor old Gerard, I'd hate, I'm 6 years younger than Gerard, so I'm not going to criticise him for his age, really. So the poor old bloke is still trying to survive, doing the best that he can, making right-wing comments about things that he shouldn't be actually commenting about because of his own biases. But nevertheless, that is what he does. And in this particular video I'm about to show you, at some point they criticise Annabelle Crabb for the latest show she's put out, which title I can't quite remember at the moment, but it will come to me. And it's about democracy and about how Australia's democracy is separate from and different from other democracies around the world. And it's a really great show. If you've got a chance to watch it on iView, please do. It's very informative indeed, and certainly it's one of those programs that kind of makes you feel proud to be Australian. So watch that. It's on the ABC iView, and it's called Civil something or other. I'll put the description down below as to where you can find it. So watch that. But they're anxious to criticise her about that particular show because they say that in the title here, they've got ABC Annabelle Crabb criticised for biased program only platforming left-wing voices. Now, Tony Abbott appeared on that show, and if he considers that he's a left-wing voice, then that's news to me. But that's what they said. So, again, misleading. That's what they do. They do it very well, actually. They're quite experts at making sure that the information they give to you is misinformation and is often tainted with their own biases. So let's have a look at the video and the segment that I'm talking about, and we'll talk about it as we go through.
Every week is Sky News Australia's media watchdog, columnist, Gerard Henderson, on the desk. Thank you for joining me.
Gerard always looks as if he's about to pass out, or either that or he's asleep. I can't work out which, but I do respect you, Gerard, so here he goes.
Thank you.
Well, Chris Kenny versus Linton Besser.
Yes.
It's been Chris Kenny versus Hugh Marks, Chris Kenny versus Justin Stevens. I like to think I'm involved a little bit, just on the...
I think you're there.
On the sideline, a little bit of a thorn in their sides. But we've got a grab of Linton Besser to react to from Media Watch, weighing into this whole editing scandal.
Yeah. Now, I love this idea that they're having a go at Media Watch. Now, what I enjoy about Media Watch is that that they're very good at criticising the ABC. Quite often, they'll present some criticism which makes you think, are you the ABC criticising the ABC? And they are, and they're very good at it, and they don't pull punches either. Whereas you would never, ever hear Sky News criticising Sky News. They would never do it. But at least Media Watch does do that. But these guys must criticise them regardless of what they're doing.
Journalist and academic Margaret Simons said vested interests,
predictably, are trying to make the BBC crisis a strike against the ABC. They should chill. The ABC is certainly not perfect, but it has clean hands in this case.
And I could not agree with that statement from Margaret, because it's been my view all along that here's Sky News trying to make a case for the ABC doing what the BBC did. And at the end of the day, we all know that Trump effed up, that he was endeavouring to overturn an election, and that he was pretty delighted that his guys were about to raid and to invade Congress, and that they were prepared to hang Mike Pence. So all those things are quite evident. So regardless of what part of this speech you could choose to play, I think that really the ABC and the BBC, for that matter, should be exonerated from anything that they did. Maybe they could have edited it differently, but didn't change the outcome or didn't change the intent, as was going to be enacted by Trump and his followers. So they continue.
Okay, so can I make a couple of points about Margaret?
Oh, please do.
She has no credibility.
Right, I love this bit. So here they're saying that Margaret has no credibility. And I'll just continue to play this a bit because I talk about her further.
She's a left-wing activist. And I was watching this, and I'm so glad you've picked up this point. Because I'm thinking, that's Linton, of all the people that you...
Right, so they're saying she's a left-wing activist. So it does say in Wikipedia that she's an Australian academic, freelance journalist and author. She has written numerous articles and essays, as well as many books, including a biography of Senate Leader of the Australian Party, ALP, Penny Wong. There's also Tanya Plibersek, and she's written also. She won a Walkley Award for her articles and so on. So, and she has a PhD, I think, in arts or some similar or related topic. So that is who Margaret Simons is. But this is the person that they're criticising now.
You can weigh into about what relevance does she possibly have to weigh into who's right or wrong.
Well, Dr. Simon,
she has every relevance because she's a journalist, an author, an academic. She has just as much right as Gerard Henderson does, and we'll have a look at Gerard's credentials in just a moment as well.
As if you don't mind.
Oh, doctor, what's the doctorate in?
I've no idea.
Who cares?
You could have looked it up. It was in Wikipedia, you clown.
Go on.
But I wouldn't go to have had a heart attack, put it that way.
Yeah, that's a frustration for me, is that my wife's got a doctorate. So, and the idea about doctorates came about long before the medical practitioners decided to use that term to describe themselves. And we as a society tend to understand that if you're a doctor, you're a medical practitioner. Well, that's not true. If you're a doctor, you can be a doctor in philosophy. And so you've done some academic background. In fact, many people that have got doctorates have done far more studies than those people who've got medical degrees. So, we need to be clear about that. But these guys laugh it off. I think Jared's got a PhD as well, was able to find that out. So he's got a doctorate as well, but probably doesn't use the title maybe. But so we need to understand those differences.
She's also a false prophet because as I demonstrated in my Media Watchdog blog tomorrow, about 20 years ago, she predicted Rupert Murdoch's imminent death and gave medical reasons why this would come about.
Oh, what an awful thing to do.
But it didn't.
Yeah.
I've documented. So what happened here is that Linton Best has got all sorts of people he can go to, but who he went to, Margaret Simons, as one of a left-wing journalist, is surely going to criticise Sky.
Right. So, okay. So we've got that. And then we've got Gerard Henderson, who is an Australian author, columnist and political commentator, noted for his right-wing, I love this bit, right-wing Catholic and conservative views. He founded and executive director of the Sydney Institute, a privately funded Australian Current Affairs Forum. So, and he went, interesting enough, he was educated in Melbourne's Catholic school. He was a Jesuit-run Xavier College and one of the elite city's elite private schools. So, here's this guy who's extremely right-wing, who's extremely conservative, telling us how we should be viewing media rights, given that Margaret Simons was a person that they decided to interview. But this just goes further to show the biases that exist within Sky News. So I wanted to take us then to another segment where they're criticising, I think this is it, where they're criticising Annabelle Crabb. Now, I find this interesting because this is their thing. Annabelle Crabb's done this wonderful thing on civic duty and civic Australia's electoral system and how wonderful it is. And in doing so, she travelled around the world. Now, I don't know why she went to did she go to the UK? Not too sure, but she certainly went to the US and she went to Denmark to make a comparison between minority governments in Denmark, of which there are many, and how that works compared to Australia, which is fair enough and good on her. But of course, their complaint about that is that obviously she used some funding to do that through the ABC, which we pay for. So that's their objection. So here they are again, and this time complaining about her.
Perhaps civic duty. I've seen
civic duty.
I've seen a little bit of it. I think you're making the point it's a conservative free zone. We've got some grabs to watch. Let's play the first.
But see, you sound like a campaigner now. I saw yesterday when you were delivering questions to President Trump. He says, "Oh, I love that question."
Mm-hmm. On the southern border, you've had record low numbers for...
This woman that Annabelle's interviewing is actually a Turning Point US spokesperson. She's called a journalist, but she's a spokesperson. And I think the fact that she was interviewed was quite relevant to the conversation as well.
For the month of May, what do you attribute that success to?
I like you. Who are you with?
Turning Point USA.
Well, they're very good. Turning Point.
The journalist in me goes, "Oh my God, that's a disaster," because I don't want a politician ever to love a question that I ask them. So how does that work as a journalist?
Well, she's
Firstly, because she's with Turning Point USA, my guess is she's probably not much of a journalist anyway, and I think it's a reasonable question for Annabelle to ask.
Messed up there because Annabelle Crabb says that she never wants a journalist to have a nice question. Let's see how she goes on that track record.
What has the disruption of reporting around politics in particular done to your ability to project and win political arguments?
It's made change harder.
Yeah, that's a tough question.
It's the same program.
It's the same program.
And I must confess, I cannot understand what they're laughing at. They seem two completely different questions, We're asking a journalist for an organisation like Turning Point, and then you've got asking a politician another question, which is, I think, totally different. Don't understand it, but these guys must criticise it. Civic duty, great program. Do watch it. Let me know what you think about all of that stuff and what they're doing, and there'll be more and more videos to come out over the next day or so. And please subscribe to my channel, ring the bell for notifications. Let me know what you think. I love reading your comments, and I love responding to them. So take care, everybody, and I look forward to being with you real soon.